Hello, once again, ladies and gentlemen of the internet, citizens of the realm. Today, we are gathered here to give an update on the leader of the Canadian Nationalist Party, Travis Patron, and his current court battle that he is facing right now. He is facing multiple charges that stem from hate speech towards an identifiable group, uh, assault charges, uh, one count of mischief, and one count of break and enter. So, according to the Crown, that because he has these indictable offenses, it's incumbent upon him to prove that he is not a danger to the public. But usually, how it works is when someone is detained, there needs to be something that's called a writ of habeas corpus. Uh, Clayton, hello, Clayton. How are you? I am live. I am giving an update here. Um, if you want to come on later, I could put this. You know what? I'll put the stream here if you're in the chat. Maybe we could talk about things because I know I want to talk about CMP stuff. I'll post the link in the chat. Everyone, you're welcome to come on. I'm just gonna. You might have to wait a little bit, but I just want to get through this story. But yeah, so I'm talking about Travis Patron here and his ongoing court battle with the Crown, and I was talking about the writ of habeas corpus that the Crown must produce in order to justify someone's detainment. And the Crown's argument is because you have multiple indictable charges, it is incumbent upon the accused, I say the accused, to prove beyond a reasonable doubt whether you are guilty or not. Clayton, hello, Clayton. Clayton is a member of the Canadian Nationalist Party. Hang on.
Hello.
Hello, Clayton. How are you?
I'm okay. Surviving.
That's good. That's good. Uh, is it all right? I'm just gonna go through this story here, and then I don't know. You can maybe do an introduction, but um, yeah. So I was just basically saying that because there's just I don't know if you're aware, but there has been a story that's just been most recently. This is breaking news, about a couple hours ago from the Leader Post in Saskatchewan. Um, Travis Patron argues his rights and religious freedom are being infringed upon. So I'm just going to go through this story and then maybe we can have a little chat. How's that sound?
Sounds good.
Okay. So I'm going to screen share here. Screen sharing. Alrighty. Okay. So this is the title here. Travis Patron argues for his rights and religious freedom being infringed. Claiming his rights and religious freedom are being infringed, Patron has argued his detention and custody on numerous charges is improper. Claiming a lack of jurisdiction by the Crown and a breach of his religious freedoms, the federal leader of the far-right Canadian Nationalist Party argued before a judge his detention is unlawful. Referring to himself as he has in the past, in the third and often plural person, Travis Patron argued Tuesday before a court of Queen's Bench Justice Neil Robertson, the current detention is arbitrary and unlawful, and therefore the accused must be released from custody without delay. We have reason to believe that Her Majesty the Queen does not have personal jurisdiction over the accused required to proceed on these matters. He continued, arguing the Crown was wrong in claiming a reverse onus at the bail hearing earlier this year in which Patron lost. Let's just see. I'm not quite sure what they're. Hang on. There's a link here. I'm not quite sure which charge they were referring to, but there is a link. Maybe I'll go to that a little bit later to what they're exactly referring to. In many circumstances, the onus on at bail hearing falls on the Crown to prove why an accused should be held in custody. In cases of reverse onus, it's up to the accused to prove why he or she should be released. During a number of recent appearances at Regina Provincial Court, 30-year-old Patron has alleged his rights are being infringed and that his charges and detention in custody are without merit. On Tuesday, having taken his fight to the Regina Court of Queen's Bench, he made his arguments as to why he believes he is being unlawfully detained, filed through what's termed as a writ of habeas corpus. Additionally, the self-represented Patron argued he was wrongfully prevented from advocating for himself during the most recent federal election, as well as in court. So he's referring to the city of Saskatoon, where he was permitted not to assemble due to denominational reasons. When he says when he tried to sue them in court. There was a matter with the city of Saskatoon. He wasn't allowed to use public space, as well as the legions as well too in Saskatoon and Redverse. So it's not like the one and only public space that the party's been banned from speaking and assembling. But in this case, he's referring to the city of Saskatoon because the city of Saskatoon is the one that he took to court and tried to sue for damages. The latter because he didn't hold a license from the Law Society of Saskatchewan. He argued a biblical passage bestowed on him the religious freedom to allow us to proceed with or without license. I believe that he's referencing to the Magna Carta, I believe. We do believe that the religious liberty of the accused to advocate for themselves within the court of law and within the electoral system has been neglected, Patron argued. We believe that provides ground for forfeiture of personal jurisdiction. Religious freedom as played into what he called an affirmative defense to the charges against him, stating an alleged break-in to the Redverse Legion was at the direction of God, who is the competent authority of the realm. Robinson didn't ask to hear from the Crown on the habeas corpus application before reserving his decision. A date for return of the decision wasn't provided. The decision will also deal with a bail review requested by Patron of the earlier provincial court bail refusal. And then, as outlined in the Crown Tuesday, Patron faces a swath of charges: 2 assaults causing bodily harm against women in Regina, a hate crime allegation relating to online posts, mischief and break and enter springing from incidents involving the Redverse Legion, mischief and obstruction in relation to the incident at the legislature, and various breaches. Oh, they actually charge him with the obstruction. I didn't know that. Huh. Patron was previously ordered to undergo mental health assessment, but the report was returned last month, having found no treatment in that regard was necessary. So he is of a sound mind, according to Her Majesty. Hallelujah. We have to take that as it is. So what's your thoughts on the matter? What's have you been following what's going on at all?
I've been trying to reach the website for a long time, but it's been down or something.
Yeah, the website has been down, and there's also a chat room as well too. That's also down as well. That's from the nationalfaithism.org. That's also been down too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been trying to reach out to you guys, but I guess this is the best I can do right now.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is pretty much it. Yeah. So basically, this is my YouTube channel, and I promote other religious freedoms. other religious content on here as well too, and I have interesting discussions as well. But maybe you want to introduce yourself and how you got involved into the party.
It's been a few years now. I've been talking with the members on the
Okay.
website, and I've been sharing my ideas on the website, and I guess that's gone now. So
Hmm. Oh yeah, yeah. I think I do remember you on the chat forum. Yeah. So basically, that's the story of it. There's really not much of a, a platform we have. Is I think the reason why I think that the website and everything was taken down is because of the hate speech allegation. Because the court requested that we don't have post anything on the nationalist website that is for the public consumption. So basically, we can't post anything for public consumption according to the courts after the
that's
hate speech claim. Yeah, and so since now he's been accused of that, they viewed it as a justification to take it down because his website's through a GoDaddy domain, and so it's a third party domain. So basically, they just probably went to the third party domain, told him to shut it down, and yeah, so basically, we don't really have any platform anymore. Never mind Facebook and Twitter. We can't even have our own website. That's pretty hardcore, man.
ever thought of using what's it called their Beaker browser to host your website?
Yeah, he was actually he was working on one. And I was under the assumption of the chat room was under it was working under that browser. And it didn't that chat room it was still up even after the website was down, and then a couple of weeks went by and then the chat room was taken down
Oh,
after he was incarcerated. Because when he was incarcerated, I remember it was like the website probably went down probably like a couple of days after it was confirmed that he was incarcerated, and then a couple of weeks went by and I was still posting things on the chat room, and then the chat room went down after a couple of weeks. So I can't post anything. Like I can't post anything on a chat room. I don't know like what he did with the server, but yeah, that's basically so basically all that's left is this channel, which is some sort of a backup, I guess, if you want to say that. But yeah, I know that you do coding and all that stuff, and it looked kind of familiar what he was doing with the the server. I honestly I don't know anything about it. It looks like a lot of tedious work, so I don't know. Because I know you do coding streams, eh?
yeah, I do.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Honestly, that looks like just another language to me. So I'm not privy to that stuff. Maybe like basic HTML language, but I only have like a high school education on computers, so I'm limited to. I can do some editing, some maybe some graphics and stuff like that. But yeah, nothing. Maybe if I put my mind to it, I could do it. But I honestly I don't know where to start. So yeah, yeah. What so aside from that, so what's your belief? What are your religious stance? What is your views on things? Like what are your preferred policies? What attracted you to the Nationalist Party?
Well, free speech and common religion, and uh, not having a nut job for a premier, prime
Okay,
minister.
okay,
I voted for Maxime Bernier, but I think a lot of people voted for him, but it didn't go through.
okay. Now is it that the CMP references has a ethnocentric platform that attracted you to them?
Uh, No, it's more right wing with teeth.
Okay. So it's basically more conservative, socially conservative values that attracted you to the Nationalist Party.
Yes.
Okay, that's fair. What are your thoughts on like ethnicity? Like, do you have any like thoughts on like different cultures and how they evolve and how different ethnicities support one another?
Um. Well, I guess everybody's got their own opinions, but
Mm-hmm.
the best certain branches off to so that humanity can evolve separately.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, that's neat. Do you know anything about law or anything like that? Do you have anything that's to comment on the story at all?
Well, I think that's totally unfair that there's incarcerating him from his own free speech.
Mm-hmm.
But he did break into a public building, so I don't know.
Yeah, that's the one part that it's a little bit like you could say, yeah, he breached the peace. Uh, I guess the first time he did it, like he basically wrote a notice of civil asset forfeiture to the Legion staff, and then he was charged with mischief. And then he basically tried that next week. He just basically broke in, and you could say, yeah, that's a little bit. I guess you could say that breaking the peace and not necessarily following the law. But I mean, if you read the Magna Carta and you interpret it literally, I guess he was in the domain of acting within God's will. So he's basically operating not necessarily. Well, he's still making arguments to the crown, but that he is the crown doesn't have lawful jurisdiction to charge him with these like erroneous charge such as like hate speech um, and mischief and all that stuff. So yeah, I don't know. It's very. I would like to know what's more is going on, but this it seems like the media was just kind of copy and pasting on what happened, and they weren't necessarily putting a spin on it, because I think most people that work in the media are just spin doctors, and most of them don't really have any much knowledge in law, so they just kind of do hard copy and paste and report it as it is, and they actually do their job. So thank you, Regina Leader Post. Except for the comment of the far right, I don't know. That seems to be a tick that they always call us is far right. They use that in order to basically make us unsavourable, make us really, yeah. So people won't be curious in us. They'll be, oh, they look at them. They're extremists. They're racist, and they're um, Islamophobic, and you know they're unsavory party, and anybody who even thinks of joining them should have their lose their job, and not be able to join the military, or basically not have access to society. That's basically where our Canadian society has basically devolved into. I mean, Travis Patron. I mean, people like to point at us and say, "Oh, look at you! You guys are far right. You guys say some really eccentric stuff, and it's kind of inflammatory." But it's just like it's the truth. It's when you speak the truth doesn't care about your feelings, And I think our society, especially in Canada, is predicated on like feelings and you know, uh, arbitrary application of the law, especially because, you know, like everyone looks at the court system as being like equal, yeah, equality under the law, but really in practice, that's not really how it works. It's it really is not equality under the law. It's basically one law for thee and another law for me, you know. And you look at, like, you know, people getting charged for speaking up against their kids getting transgender treatment, you know, or mask with the COVID, or even like talking to people in the park. I was ticketed $2,800 for talking to more than 10 people in the park, you know, and
Really?
yeah, yeah, and that's an infringement on my speech. The government doesn't want anybody to criticize, like, but then you'll see these other rallies like Free Palestine, where there's hundreds of people and no one gets a ticket. So obviously there's just a blatant hypocrisy and blatant malice that is being practiced, and the authorities need to be confronted on this. That this is just blatant, just malice of their duties and their sworn oath. And it's not only that the laws are arbitrary and unjust; it's that that there's a two-tiered system in enforcing those arbitrary laws. So the corruption runs deep, and Canadian society is, I have to say, it's beyond salvageable at this point. You're probably better off just claiming your own jurisdiction and starting over, and yeah, like work on your own server and all that stuff. So, but once Travis gets out and can go to the Ministry of National Faithism and work on that server and get a website coming up, and, you know, go from there, you know. Oh, what are your thoughts on Jagmeet Singh? His comments on those who don't wear masks and who flaunt the social distance rules. They have a link to the far right. What are your thoughts on his comments?
Fine, more power for us.
It's just like, you know, like the PPC, like they're really like they're really like predicated upon like winning the vote. And honestly, I don't see a democratic reform coming in Canada anytime soon. But God bless them for doing the work and holding the rallies and having that platform to speak out. But yeah, you know, just to seeing when I was at that rally, it was like there's like maybe 100 people there, and like Maxine Burney was there, and I was kind of disappointed with the turnout because I thought this was like a really existential, pressing matter, but it seems that Canadians are kind of affluent to it. You know, it's like, you know, they don't really want to show up or anything like that, even to a public place to voice their dissent against government policies. It's just kind of really disheartening in a way, you know? Yeah, it's just, yeah. Like, honestly, at this point, I honestly, like, the majority of Canadians, like, they need to, like, basically get out of our way and let us forge our new path, because these people are a liability at this point. I know we're like a Democratic Party and we're supposed to win votes and all that stuff, but I always say, like, yeah, you can vote for us, but I think what we want more than ever is we want people with labor. We want your skills and talents. We want more dedication. So if you can code. If you're like really good at military training, I mean, let's do that. Let's do some drills. Let's get extra. Let's get fit. Let's, you know, let's work out. Let's do these drills. Let's you know, maybe you're good at drawing. You know, let's do up some posters and we'll post it around the community of the party. You know, and it's just like we want you, the human being. We want your skills. We want your talent. We want your dedication. We just don't want your vote. You know, like, oh, vote, and then hopefully one guy solves it all, and then everything will go back to normal. No, that's not how we're going to get out of this mess, especially in Canada. You know, we have no really opposition in Canada. That's the thing. It's like really no mainstream opposition to this mess. You know, and anybody who speaks out, like, are you aware of like all the pastors that have been arrested?
Yeah, just for holding masks.
Yeah. And what media? Well, you have Rebel, but they're kind of like make a makeshift kind of media outlet. But like
He's gone
Maxime,
down with drones too.
yeah, and Maxime Bernier got arrested too.
Really?
Yeah, he got arrested in Manitoba.
What?
For holding rallies more than 10 for holding rallies more than 10 people.
Oh my God.
It's all, and everyone says, "Oh, you're so dumb for doing that. Oh, why did you do that?" It's like, do we live in a democracy or not? Like, what? Like, are you that cowardly that you can't even gather together to criticize the government? Like, I'm done with these people. But anyway, yeah. So having more than 10 people in a park is illegal now in Canada,
Oh, that's horrible.
and you will go to jail. And like, I remember telling like people this, and they're like, "Oh my god, you're being hyperbolic." I'm like, "No, this is like fact. Look it up." Not exaggerating any of this one bit. Like, we're a clown country. We're a country run by clowns. Oh shit. Anyway, but yeah, yeah. So, did you go to school like for coding or what?
Taught myself.
Oh, cool, cool, cool. I think I think Travis is kind of like that too. That's neat. That's very cool. Yeah, I kind of like focus on like law and all that stuff, but um, yeah, that's pretty neat. Did you say you're like, you don't have to necessarily say like city, but like, are you from Alberta or like from?
Yeah, I'm from Alberta.
Oh, okay, okay, yeah, yeah. So that's cool. Um, but yeah, I'm hoping that Travis comes out very soon. Um, but seems like there, maybe he's getting some headway, but hopefully that you know can get out, and then we can go to the Ministry of National Faithism and start our work from there. Start from scratch, pretty much.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Mm-hmm. But yeah. Well, yeah. I don't know if anybody else wants to come on, but um, I think this was good. I just wanted to go through this, but um, maybe next time we could like schedule like a topic, and then we could discuss about the topic.
Yeah,
How's
for
that
sure.
sound? And then we could be a little bit more structured. I know this is kind of makeshift. I just wanted to make it about Travis Patron update, but yeah, we could definitely do that next time for sure.
All right.
All right. Okay. Thank you for watching and have a good night.